Hello, everyone. My name is Omi Sabzada, and today I'll be looking into Cognitive Boost, how exercise and mental training help people with schizophrenia. Today, I want to share something exciting that bridges mental health treatment and brain science. Not just hallucinations or delusions that often get media attention, but something more subtle and just as serious, cognitive deficits. These include problems with memory, focus, and decision making. What's fascinating is how two approaches, cognitive remediation and aerobic exercise, are showing promise when used together. Cognitive remediation trains the brain directly through exercises, while aerobic exercise prepares the brain to learn by improving blood flow and releasing neurotrophic chemicals. Think of it as a workout routine for your brain with warm-ups, drills, and conditioning. This combination can help people with schizophrenia recover thinking skills that are essential for everyday life. And what's even more interesting is that these same strategies can help all of us, especially college students, protect and strengthen our cognitive health. What is schizophrenia? Schizophrenia is a complex mental health disorder that affects about 1% of the population worldwide. It typically appears in late adolescence or early adulthood, which overlaps with the college years. Symptoms are usually divided into three categories. Positive symptoms like hallucinations or delusions, negative symptoms such as lack of motivation or emotional flatness, and cognitive symptoms, which include issues with memory, attention, and planning. While medication can help control the positive symptoms, cognitive issues are much harder to treat and often linger even with even when other symptoms improve. These deficits make it difficult for people to return to school, hold a job, or live independently. So while we might think of schizophrenia as just hearing voices, it's really much more than that. The brain's ability to process information is compromised, and that's what makes treatment such a challenge. Understanding how to support cognitive recovery is one of the most urgent tasks in mental health care today. Why cognitive symptoms matter. Cognitive symptoms are often the most disabling part of schizophrenia, even more than hallucinations or delusions. According to Philip, according to Dr. Philip Harvey, impairments in memory, attention, and reasoning are the strongest predictors of how well a person will function in the real world. That includes whether they can manage their money, navigate public transportation, follow a schedule, or maintain relationships. These aren't just frustrating gaps in attention, they're barriers to independence and quality of life. And unlike positive symptoms, which tend to respond to medication, cognitive deficits are usually persistent. This means that after a person stabilizes on antipsychotics, they may still struggle to succeed in school or work because their thinking is slow or disorganized. That's why researchers are so interested in treatments that target condition directly, because if we can improve cognitive functioning, we may be able to help people reclaim more of their lives and reach their personal goals. Cognitive remediation, or CR, is a form of therapy designed to improve specific cognitive skills like attention, memory, and problem solving. It often uses computer programs or structured tasks that patients practice over time. But it's not just about doing puzzles, it's about learning strategies, receiving feedback, and building mental stamina. Think of it like brain rehabilitation. According to Wicks et al., CR has shown consistent results in improving thinking skills, especially when combined with other supports like social skills training or vocational coaching. What's especially what's especially promising is that the improvements in cognition often transfer to real life functioning. People who complete CR programs are more likely to hold jobs or succeed in school. However, CR can be slow. It takes weeks or months of consistent practice, and engagement can be a challenge. That's why researchers are looking into ways to boost its effectiveness, including combining it with treatments that stimulate the brain's ability to adapt and grow. Aerobic exercise like running, biking, or even brisk walking does much more than improve physical health. It actually enhances brain function. Exercise increases blood flow to the brain. It triggers the release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, a chemical that supports the growth of new neurons and synapses. This is particularly important for people with schizophrenia who often have lower levels of BDNF and reduced plasticity in brain regions responsible for memory and executive function, according to Rasmussen and Lohmann. Even in healthy individuals, exercise improves attention, mood, and cognitive performance. For people with schizophrenia, incorporating AE can provide a neurobiological boost that prepares the brain for learning and memory consolidation. It's like priming the soil before planting seeds. On its own, exercise may produce modest gains in cognition, but when paired with interventions like CR, the results can be significantly amplified, leading us to a model where brain and body training work together. Now, here's where things really get interesting. Cognitive remediation and aerobic exercise each have their own benefits, but when combined, they can work synergistically. Aerobic exercise sets the stage by increasing plasticity and neural readiness, while CR provides the actual content and practice for the brain to improve. Wexler et al. Found that patients who engaged in cognitive exercises showed increased activation in their frontal lobes, the part of the brain responsible for decision making and planning. It showed that cognitive remediation was used with early course schizophrenia patients. There were significant improvements in brain connectivity. Together, these studies suggest that CR and AE isn't just additive, it may be multiplicative. It's like charging a phone and optimizing the apps at the same time. Both are necessary for peak performance. This synergy could become a future standard for treating cognitive deficits, not just in schizophrenia, but potentially in other conditions too. You might be wondering, how does this relate to you, a college student without schizophrenia? First, many students face mental health challenges like anxiety, depression, or ADHD, which also affect cognitive functioning. Learning how cognitive remediation and aerobic exercise support the brain teaches us strategies we can use in our own lives to improve focus, memory, and stress resilience. Second, understanding schizophrenia promotes empathy and awareness. Many people are diagnosed during college age years, and you may have classmates, friends, or relatives facing this illness. Finally, this research challenges the outdated idea that mental illness is a life sentence with no hope of progress. It reminds us that the brain is adaptable and that recovery, though not always easy, is possible with the right support. As students, this encourages us to care not only about physical fitness, but also cognitive wellness. And who wouldn't want to improve their mental performance during finals week? As promising as cognitive remediation and aerobic exercise are, not everyone has equal access to these interventions. Cognitive remediation programs can be costly, and insurance doesn't often cover them. Aerobic exercise requires time, safe environments, and sometimes gym memberships, resources that aren't equally distributed. Orphanos et al. Emphasized how marginalized groups face additional barriers to receiving evidence-based treatments, especially those rooted in more affluent academic settings. Ethically, this raises the question, if we know something works, how do we ensure everyone can benefit? We can't assume that cognitive improvement is just a matter of willpower. It's about access to care, quality programming, and reducing stigma. As students, we can advocate for more inclusive mental health resources on campus and in our communities. We can also push for funding and policy that makes brain health a priority for all, regardless of income, race, or zip code. Justice in healthcare includes justice too. The future of cognitive remediation and aerobic exercise look bright and innovative. Researchers are experimenting with 8 fast CR programs, making it easier for patients to train their brains from home. Some teams are exploring the use of virtual reality to create immersive cognitive environments that mimic real-world challenges. On the exercise front, wearable technology is being used to monitor heart rate and progress during aerobic exercise sessions to optimize benefits. One exciting area is identifying exactly how much and what kind of exercise works best. Is 20 minutes of running enough? Should it come before or after cognitive training? These questions are being tested in real time. Additionally, finding these tools early in the illness may produce even better outcomes, especially before long-term damage occurs. The goal is to make these treatments accessible, personalized, and scalable so that they can become part of mainstream mental health care. This research continues, we may be looking at a whole new way to treat them. Let me tell you about Alex. composite case based on real outcomes. Alex was diagnosed with schizophrenia at 22 and had to leave college after repeated hospitalizations. Medications helped stabilize his symptoms, but he still couldn't concentrate long enough to finish assignments or remember daily tasks. Through a pilot program combining CR and AE, Alex began walking every day and completing cognitive exercise on a tablet. In 6 months, his working memory and attention improved, he became more confident in conversations, and began volunteering at a local library. Eventually, Alex took two community college classes and passed both. The story isn't rare. It represents what's possible when brain science and rehabilitation meet real-life goals. It also reminds us that behind every intervention is a person with hopes and dreams. Treatments like cognitive remediation and aerobic exercise aren't just about neurons. They're about getting back to school, to work, and to a sense of purpose. So what should you remember? First, cognitive deficits are a major barrier for people with schizophrenia, and traditional medications don't fix them. Cognitive remediation provides structured brain training to build thinking skills, while the exercise enhances brain health by increasing blood flow and boosting growth factors. When used together, they can have a powerful, even life-changing impact. Second, this isn't about mental illness. It's about how we all can support our cognitive health through movement and mental challenge. Third, access matters. Not everyone can benefit from these treatments unless we work to make them widely available and affordable. Whether you plan to work in healthcare, advocacy, or just trying to be an informed peer, this topic connects science, compassion, and justice. So move your body, train your brain, and support systems that help others do the same. Thank you very much for listening. These are my references.